In his office, Kane shows Chance the security footage that he has been gathering, and the cop questions why they were being monitored. Kane assures him he hasn't been spying on anyone's bedrooms. He's confident the footage will clear him. When they get to the moment when Damien was attacked, the video blanks out. Kane freaks, and Chance asks who else has access to this room and the equipment. Ashby explains that would be Amanda and Carter. The cop is confident that one of them messed with the footage. "Why would I erase the only footage that would prove that I'm innocent?" Kane asks. He needs to get to the bottom of this more than anyone because his freedom and life depend on it. Jack and Diane come upon Billy in the dining area. "Groundhog Day again," Jack complains. Billy guesses they didn't hear the big news and fills them in on Damien getting a knife in the back last night. The question is, who did it and why? They agree this is awful. Billy explains that someone hiked down the mountain to get the police, but Chance has been investigating so far. This all seems strange and too convenient to Diane. She speculates that all the random events must be connected. The killer is out there, and they are trapped like bugs in a jar. Diane notices Sally isn't present and says none of them should be alone right now. Billy changes the topic to Lily and Damien hooking up. Jack assumes he's suggesting Kane killed Damien out of jealousy. His brother hopes that's not true because it would put a stop sign on his business deal. This leads to Jack arguing with him about his priorities. They bicker about Billy sidelining Abbott Communications for a chance at Chancellor. Billy is determined to get it back. His brother complains that he should have known he would sabotage a good thing when he agreed to invest in him. Diane is sure Kane wouldn't kill someone with so many people around. Billy suggests that Kane simply ended up in the right place at the right time. "Whatever you think, whatever you heard, I had nothing to do with Damien's death," Kane insists as he joins them. He announces that he was the intended victim. That's why he invited Chance. But he didn't think that the killer would make a move while he was surrounded by people. Jack asks who is targeting him. Kane doesn't know. Billy suggests it could be the Newmans. Kane explains that Nick made it clear he would do anything to protect his family. Jack thinks the suggestion that Nick tried to kill him is preposterous, but Billy isn't so sure. He's seen him lose it, and he could easily go too far. Kane's sure that's a real possibility. Standing in his towel, Kyle answers a frantic tapping on his door. It's Audra with horrible news. Damien is dead. It doesn't even seem real. It's shocking that he was stabbed. "Poor Nate," she frets, adding that this will break Amy's heart. All she wanted was for Amy and Damien to make peace before she died. They did, and her friend was getting better because her son was in her life again. This news could destroy her. Audra wants to call home, but can't, so she doesn't know who to turn to. The moment Nate and Amy learn what's happened, their hearts will be smashed into a million pieces. Audra admits she's a mess. Kyle says she can stay as long as she needs to. This all feels like a bad dream to her. They discuss how freaked out Lily is, and her suspicion that Kane killed Damien. This doesn't make much sense to them, but Audra adds that love can make you do crazy things sometimes. So far, the police don't even seem to have been notified. Phyllis walks into the club car where Sharon and Nick are eating. None of them knows why they bothered to sleep last night. Phyllis asks Nick if anything else was found in his cabin last night. He says the dagger was enough and starts venting. He's worried about his parents. His father is ready to throttle Kane. Sharon is sure things will be sorted out once the police arrive. Nick doubts that Kane has even sent for them. Phyllis reminds Nick that she was with Kane last night, and he couldn't have framed him. Nick assumes Kane could be stalling the cops to clean up the evidence. Chance can't really do anything. Any DNA from the killer at the scene of the crime is likely long gone by now. He complains that Ashby has been manipulating them all along. Phyllis remains certain that there is a reasonable explanation for what's happened. She suggests she's seeing things far more clearly than Nick is. Sharon agrees that this is all a puzzle. The redhead thinks Kane hasn't hidden anything. He's only had his heart broken by Lily and is hurting. Nick reminds Phyllis that Kane is framing her daughter's father for murder. Phyllis thinks he's talking nonsense and repeats that she and Chance were with Kane the entire time. She doesn't believe he's being framed and suggests he focus his rage on finding the real killer. Nick told her to pick a side, and it seems like she has. Phyllis says she will always be on his side. In a huff, Nick accuses her of selling her soul just for a job and stomps out. Phyllis pushes Sharon to throw in her 2 cents. Sharon is sure Nick didn't mean what he said, and assures Phyllis she's not thinking the worst of her. After thanking Sharon for giving her the benefit of a doubt, Phyllis explains that's all she's trying to do for Kane. They sit, and Sharon reminds Phyllis that Kane has been lying to them about a lot. As much as she doesn't want to believe he's a killer, she points out that Phyllis didn't find Kane until after Damien had been stabbed. Sharon is struggling with why she's so confident Kane is innocent. Phyllis explains that the look of terror and the fear in his voice were something that can't be faked. They've both known that terror, and it's real. Once they agree that Nick had nothing to do with this, they wonder who would kill Damien and try to pin it on Nick. Who would be capable of that? The Abbotts wouldn't do it. Neither would the Winters family, Michael, or Lauren. When they get to Sally, Phyllis wishes it was her or Audra, but concedes that they aren't killers. That leaves the people who work for Kane, and that means the murderer is out there with Nick and Kane in their crosshairs. In his train car, Kyle and Audra realize that coming on this trip was probably a bad idea. He wonders if Kane is playing an elaborate game by piling another mystery onto the other mysteries. Audra wouldn't put that past him, but points out that the corpse Lily saw was real. When a door slams, she jumps and rubs up against Kyle. He says anyone would be rattled at a time like this. Kyle tells Audra they need to sit tight. He assures her they will be okay. When Kyle suggests she go to check on Lily, Audra admits she doesn't want to go anywhere. Running her hand over his arm, she says she feels safe with him. They look into each other's eyes and then start kissing intensely. Nick runs into Chance outside the maze. He's not happy when the detective informs him that he checked the security footage and it goes blank at the time of the murder. "This whole thing is a setup. He's been playing us the whole time," Nick insists. He recounts how Kane announced someone was trying to kill him, and now someone is dead. Ashby has been manipulating everything. Chance knows that, but he's one cop with no resources and no jurisdiction. What is he supposed to do? Nick urges him to rattle some cages and asks if he really thinks he will sit around and do nothing. He threatens to walk down the mountain and find help if he has to. "Someone else needs to take control of this damn game," he bellows. Jack, Billy, Diane, and Kane emerge from the maze. Kane is asked where the cops are. He doesn't know. Immediately, Nick accuses him of lying and declares that he's sick of it. "I'm going to blow this whole thing wide open before somebody else gets hurt or worse," he vows. The Young and the Restless preview for the week of July 21st reveals Nick Newman will get an unpleasant surprise. Also coming up, Lily Winters and Audra Charles will be startled. Plus, Chance Chancellor and Victor Newman will question Carter, and Kane Ashby will make an accusation against Amanda Sinclair. Why in our spoilers tease, Amanda will stand behind Kane in his office as he looks at security footage. She'll suspect that he's deleting evidence. "You know what's funny?" he asks in the Y&R Weekly preview. "I was about to come find you and ask you the same thing." In the garden area, Lily and Audra will hear a loud noise. "Did you hear that?" Lily will ask her. She'll get up from the bench she's sitting on and stand beside Audra. "Who's there?" Audra will call out. Meanwhile, Carter will find himself on the hot seat. "Did Kane Ashby confide in you regarding his plan to murder Damien?" Victor will ask him. However, Carter will not be having it. "It is true that I would do anything for Mr. Dumas," Kane's assistant will tell Victor and Chance. "But I did not do what you both think I did." So, is Carter telling the truth? Finally, a disheveled Nick will open the door to his room, only to find Carter and someone else standing there. "What do you want?" he'll ask. Carter will say he needs Nick to come with him. "For Mr. Dumas' safety and the peace of mind of all the rest of the guests," he'll add. "I'm placing you under house arrest." But will Nick go with Carter willingly? Keep reading The Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, July 21st reveal that Lily Winters and Audra Charles will have a scary encounter while Carter faces Victor Newman's interrogation. For starters, Audra and Kyle Abbott will have to deal with the aftermath of a joint betrayal. After a makeout session in Friday's episode, Kyle and Audra might let things escalate to a full-fledged bedroom romp. Whatever the case, Audra and Kyle will need to talk about their sizzling slip-up. On Monday's Y&R episode, Kyle and Audra may agree it was a mistake that they just need to forget. Of course, Victor tasked Audra with seducing Kyle and blowing up his romance with Claire Newman, but she never intended to go as far as truly betraying Nate Hastings. Since Nate's going to be devastated enough over Damian Kane's demise, Audra won't want to add to his anger and sorrow. Kyle won't want to crush Claire either, so he may make a pact of silence with Audra. Unfortunately, secrets don't stay buried for long on soaps, so more trouble's brewing, especially since Audra and Kyle seem to have developed some real feelings for each other. Later, Audra will end up in the garden with Lily, so they'll be together when a noise catches them off guard. Considering what happened to Damian, it's easy to see why Lily and Audra will immediately fear the worst. Audra will ask who's there as they have a scary encounter, but someone innocent and familiar might emerge from the maze instead of the real murder culprit. This could be a fake-out that highlights how stressful things have become on the property. Next, Victor and Chance Chancellor will team up for a Carter grilling session. Carter will land on the hot seat as Victor asks about Kane's plan to murder Damian and what he might have confided. Naturally, Carter himself will face accusations about the crimes he might have committed on Kane's orders. Although Carter will admit he'd do anything for Mr. Dumas, he'll deny killing Damian and will defend his boss's innocence too. As for Nick Newman, he'll be placed under house arrest in the coming episodes. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Lily Winters may witness a new attempt on Kane Ashby's life. Will that be enough to finally convince Lily that Kane is not the killer? Lily has definitely been struggling over Damian Kane's demise and all the suspicions swirling around Kane. Y&R fans have seen Lily get pretty forceful when it comes to her stance that Kane is a cold-blooded murderer. Of course, Lily is operating under the assumption that Kane went after Damian because of their couple status. Since Lily can't predict Kane's behavior anymore, she's thinking the worst of him and making herself believe he must have wiped Damian out. Kane, on the other hand, is convinced that he was the killer's true target. Could something happen to prove Kane's right and Lily's wrong? Or will it at least appear that way? Let's consider for a moment that Kane's theory is correct and that he was the intended victim. If that's the case, then the killer will surely strike again at some point and try to finish the job that was botched. That could set the stage for Lily to see the danger for herself and finally know Kane's telling the truth. However, we should also consider the possibility that someone like Carter killed Damian to eliminate Lily's new romantic option. If killing Damian was about helping Kane reunite with Lily, then the killer must be realizing by now that the plan backfired. Lily loathes Kane more than ever, so the damage needs to be undone. With that in mind, it would make sense to move forward with a fake attempt on Kane's life. If Carter is trying to push Lily and Kane back together, he'd be smart to give her a front-row seat to a seemingly dangerous situation. Perhaps Lily could even warn Kane if she sees some scary signs of trouble approaching. Lily might play the hero for Kane somehow, or it could at least seem like it if the attempt on his life is staged. Bottom line, Lily needs something to convince her that Kane isn't the person behind Damian's death, so stay tuned to see if she'll face a game-changer. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that there are 3 ways Kyle Abbott will pay for his horrible betrayal of Claire Newman. A major character downfall is brewing, so let's talk about Kyle's mistake and all the problems it'll lead to. In Y&R's July 18th episode, Kyle and Audra Charles let themselves get swept up in some passionate moments behind closed doors. Despite Audra and Kyle's attempt to brush their betrayal under the rug, you can bet their actions will come back to bite them. Audra will face consequences of her own when the time comes, but let's focus on Kyle for right now. Kyle will suffer in at least 3 ways, so we should run down the list and prepare for the fallout of his bad choices. 1. Kyle's guilt eats him alive. For starters, the guilt of what Kyle's done is going to eat him alive once he makes it back to Genoa City. When Kyle gets updates on Cole Howard dying, he'll feel terrible for not being there for Claire, especially since he was busy letting passion erupt with Audra and Nice. Kyle may try to cope with that guilt and keep Claire in the dark on his betrayal, but he'll definitely struggle to conceal how awful he feels. 2. Claire's heartache and fury unleashed. Of course, we should consider Claire's reaction when she inevitably finds out what Kyle and Audra did in France. When it comes to soapy secrets like this, there's always a countdown to exposure. Kyle will ultimately have to see the devastation in Claire's eyes and hear the sorrow in her voice. Throw in Claire's fierce outbursts as well, and Kyle will really be feeling some pain of his own. It'll be hard for Kyle to hurt Claire when he cares so much about her, but he should have thought about that before letting himself get carried away with Audra. 3. Victor enforces $5 million contract. We can't forget that Kyle signed a contract saying he'll pay $5 million and move away from Genoa City if he breaks Claire's heart. Since Kyle's on the verge of doing just that, Victor Newman will no doubt enforce the terms of their agreement. Kyle may wiggle out of the moving away part since there's no sign of Michael Mealer leaving the show. However, Kyle may have to pay the $5 million as promised and deal with any hidden clauses that might have been in that document. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Kyle will face backlash from multiple angles, so stay tuned for all the troubling news that's in store. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that the shadow of suspicion has fallen hard on Kane, whose opulent French estate has transformed from a symbol of affluence into a fortress of paranoia. In the chilling aftermath of Damian Kane's brutal murder, a single piece of evidence holds the power to either exonerate Kane or seal his fate: the surveillance footage. Installed as a high-tech security measure, the discrete network of cameras throughout the residence is now a double-edged sword. While the night of the murder is a poisoned fog in Kane's memory, he knows something went terribly wrong after a bottle of rare French wine was opened. An intended night of reconciliation between the rivals turned deadly. Both men were drugged, their memories dissolving into a blur of confusion just before the chaos erupted. The next clear moment was Damian stumbling backward, a blade buried in his back. The killer vanished, leaving Kane standing over the body, paralyzed by drugs and a paralyzing dread. Someone had orchestrated the perfect frame-up, counting on Kane's history and his instinct for self-preservation. This becomes terrifyingly clear when Kane, desperate for answers, accesses the camera archives. The footage is incomplete. The feed from the dining room cuts out at the key moment, and other crucial camera angles are either black or distorted. The system was expertly compromised, wiped either internally or remotely. Making a fateful decision, Kane chooses to hide this discovery. His secrecy, however, only tightens the noose. Chance Chancellor has arrived on the scene, his friendly questions cutting like scalpels. He is already zeroing in on inconsistencies in Kane's story and has quietly brought in a digital forensics analyst from Interpol. Kane knows it's only a matter of time before the tampered files are discovered, and hiding that fact will make him look unequivocally guilty. The one piece of footage that remains is both a clue and a dead end. A few grainy seconds showing a shadowy figure in a corridor, too lean to be Kane, their face completely obscured. The killer knew the camera blind spots, timing the attack with surgical precision in a location where no lens had a clear view. Now, Kane is trapped. The Genoa City press is painting him as a cornered man whose silence is a confession. Upcoming episodes will see Chance demand the raw, unedited surveillance data, a request Kane can't fulfill without exposing his own cover-up. To make matters worse, an anonymous, voice-disguised message warns him, "I know what you saw, and I know what you did after. Stay silent or you'll be next." Kane isn't just a suspect. He's a target and the perfect fall guy. While he may be innocent of the murder, he is guilty of obstruction, lies, and panic-fueled decisions. As his public persona crumbles, the real killer remains hidden, perhaps watching from inside the estate itself, ensuring the walls close in on the one man who knows just enough to be dangerous, but not enough to be free. Damian's death has the Young and the Restless fans playing detective. Now that the murder mystery has started, viewers are wondering who the killer is. Well, one theory has it being someone very close to Damian. Y&R was gearing up for a big murder mystery. However, no one expected Damian to be the victim. The young businessman was killed when a mystery assailant threw a knife into his back. As the investigation begins, there are many questions to be answered. Was the knife meant for Damien or Kane? And is the killer someone already in France? Fans are already starting with their speculation, and on Reddit, one person suggested Holden is the killer. I think Damien's killer is Holden. The fact that Damien was killed with a knife in the back is very telling of it being a Kane and Holden setup. Holden really thought Damien set him up by letting him seemingly get fired, and we know how Kane felt about him being with Lily, one fan theorized. Valid theory. I guessed Holden too, because of the fact that he kept saying Damien stabbed him in the back, another user agreed. However, some fans were skeptical, citing evidence that Holden's in Genoa City, not France. Yet, one viewer said, don't count the theory out. Like Kane, Holden can do the same day trip as well. I'm sure Kane would have given him access to his jet to get the deed done. Holden and Damien weren't on the best of terms prior to his trip to France. With Holden now partnering with Kane, this would have given him the perfect opportunity to get revenge on his ex-pal. Is Holden responsible for Damien's death? If so, was Kane in on the plan too? The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that many fans are frosty over the demise of Cole Howard, just when his story had a happy ending. How tragic is it that he died so soon after reconnecting with Victoria Newman and the daughter that was stolen from them, Claire Newman? Cole began coughing up a lung after coming home from a business trip, one arranged by Victor Newman. While out of town, Cole caught Legionnaire's disease, which initially was diagnosed as pneumonia. Victor still doesn't know about his former SIOL since he is trapped on Citizen Kane's Fantasy Island reality show. Cole's death devastated Victoria and Claire, and a ton of fans can't believe that the tall and handsome character was kicked to the curb so soon. But they are holding out hope for a miracle. Miracles happen routinely on daytime. If a soap didn't regularly feature back from the dead plots, the genre would be a different animal. Which is why some fans are speculating about a bizarre but not impossible plot twist. What if Jordan worked some black magic and has Cole stashed away in a dingy motel, barely breathing, but breathing nonetheless? Stranger things have happened. Cole and Victoria have a long history, decades old. In the beginning, they were young, brash, and sassy. Against the wishes of Victor, Vol began a romance that ended in tragedy. They defied Victor, and Victoria got pregnant. Before the happy family could take their baby home, Claire was stolen from the hospital by Jordan, who brainwashed her to hate the Newmans. Jordan is presumed dead, and you note we use the word presumed. No one truly dies in Soapland. So Jordan being alive is not a stumbling block to thinking that she could have stolen her nephew from the hospital and is performing life-saving measures as we speak. Jordan likes to keep tabs on GC and thrust herself into the middle of the action when the residents least expect it. She is uber sneaky and resourceful, and we put nothing past her or the Y&R writers. Young and the Restless sees Lily Winters said she would never ever take Kane Ashby back, but I'm not sure that's true, especially not with her brand new boyfriend recently stabbed to death. We're going to dig into why Lily might actually give Kane another chance on Young and the Restless. So, ever since Lily found out the mysterious Dumas is really her ex-husband Kane, she's been furious. And we got those flashbacks they filmed to invent some history showing Lily chewing Kane a new one about his dad Colin. Of course, Lily was mad that Kane forgave his conman dad, Colin Atkinson, and that Kane wanted their kids to be back in Colin's life. And of course, you know, he died. So really, Lily's been mad at Kane for quite a while. She cut him out of her life over the Colin stuff. With Duma showing interest in Winters before she knew that was her ex, Lily obviously is worried that Kane might be targeting her family and their company, and she told Amanda Sinclair she can't stand Kane. And this was before the stabbing. So when the lady lawyer was trying to talk Lily into considering getting back with Kane, we saw Lily very adamant. She was practically quoting Taylor Swift saying, "We are never ever ever getting back together, but I think with Damien Kane dead, we could see Lily change her tune." And of course, it likely wouldn't be right away. You know, with Damien stabbed, we have seen Lily fuming about her ex-hubby Kane. She thinks he's a murderous monster, not the man she used to love. Lily is telling Chance Chancellor this week that she really thinks Kane killed Damien because he didn't want anybody else to have her. Lily is very determined to get justice for Damien, but I don't think Kane killed him. I don't think Kane set Damien up to die. And once the real killer is outed and Kane's exonerated, and everybody goes back home to Genoa City, the dust is going to settle. You know, Lily's going to go back home. She's going to grieve Damien's death. And then she might gradually be more open to a reunion with Kane. But that'll be after Lily breaks the horrible news to Nate Hastings and Amy Lewis that Damien was murdered. Of course, they're all devastated. And Amy, Nate, and Lily are going to have to do a memorial service for Damien. And all of this is going to take time. Plus, Kane's plotting to take over companies, and that'll start playing out. And that could affect how Lily feels about Kane, and whether she softens up on him or stays really angry. But as long as Kane is not targeting Winters, you know, we could see Lily totally fine with Kane taking aim at Victor Newman and Nikki Newman and at Chancellor because they did Lily dirty. So there's a lot of moving parts. But after this murder mystery thing plays out in France, after they get Damien's body out of the walk-in freezer and get it home, get him buried, and Lily works through her feelings, you know, we could see her opening up to a reunion with Kane. And I want to talk about why I think this could happen. So, just right off the cuff, the first reason that Lily might be more open to getting with Kane, it's a sad reason, and it's basically because Damien is dead and gone, and Lily is alone again and heartbroken. And again, I really don't think that Kane killed Damien. I think his assistant Carter might be a suspect, though. But Kane's innocent, and once Lily knows that for sure, you know, I think she'll have some peace of mind, and she's going to chill out about Kane to some extent. And let's be real, Damien and Lily were just getting started. This was not an epic love story years in the making. Damien and Lily weren't head over heels in love or anything. It was something new. It was something different. And if Lily accepts that Kane really did wish the best for her and Damien and was going to back off, that might soften up Lily. Bottom line, Kane has never stopped loving her, and Damien is no longer a romantic option for her. So yeah, just for that reason alone, just elimination of the competition, that could change her mind on a reunion. The second reason might reconsider getting with Kane is they do have kids together. Their twins, Charlie and Maddie, are older. They are young adults. They're off in college, not in Genoa City anymore. But they are all still a family. And many kids of divorce, even grown kids, want to see their parents get back together. So Lily could consider how Maddie and Charlie might be happy to see her back with their dad Kane. And Lily might think it through and may think, okay, you know, I still have feelings there for him. The kids still love him. Maybe I'll take a look at Kane again. And a third reason Lily might consider giving Kane another chance is about his con man, awful father Colin. You know, Kane's dad is dead now. Her dad's gone too. It's terrible. But Colin was a huge problem for Lily and Kane's marriage, and a problem for their post-divorce co-parenting. And in case you forgot, several years ago, on Young and the Restless, Colin ripped off Devon Hamilton's inheritance. There were some forged papers. That was when Amanda Sinclair first came on, and Colin stole, I think, like $2.5 billion from Devon. Eventually, Colin gave it back. But still, he did that deed. That was bad enough for Lily. But then when Kane told Lily he forgave his father Colin, well, that was too much for her. Lily was furious and pretty much cut Kane out of her life. So without Colin in the picture, Lily and Kane might have an actual chance to build something brand new without the shadow of Colin and his crimes looming over them. Another reason Lily may reconsider getting back with Kane could be jealousy. There are summer spoilers from showrunner Josh Griffith that Phyllis Summers gets a new romance, and she's all about Kane right now, and Lily has rejected him. So if Kane starts a fling with Phyllis, that might actually drive Lily nuts and make her jealous. She is no fan of Phyllis, and she and Lily have been sniping at each other non-stop in France. And if Lily sees Kane with another woman, but particularly with Phyllis, that might tip her over into thinking things through in a different way. Seeing Kane with another woman may have Lily realizing she still has strong feelings for him, even if she doesn't want to admit it to herself or to Kane right away. So, Lily jealousy might take her by surprise, and it could have her reconsidering her ex-husband Kane. And the final reason that we could see Lily diving back into a reunion with Kane is about revenge. So, This could be Lily being devious and not really wanting to get back with him, but tricking Kane to hurt him to get payback for all the ways he hurt her. Lily could take Kane back, make him think she loves him, pretend she wants a future with him, and then once Lily has him hook, line, and sinker, she can dump Kane and break his heart. So Lily might even want Kane to pay for taking Damien from her. Even if Kane didn't stick the knife in his back, Lily might still blame him for the circumstancing surrounding Damien's death. So if revenge is what drives Lily to a reunion with Kane, I could see it actually happening sooner rather than later. Lily might want payback on Kane if she sees that he's not being held accountable in ways she thinks he should be. And again, I don't think he killed Damien, but Lily may never totally believe that he's innocent. And of course, if she got back with Kane only to break his heart, I think her kids might not be happy about it. But it sure would be soapy. In the recent episode of the CBS soap opera, The Young and the Restless, aired on July 18th, 2025, Kyle and Audra shared a kiss that could ruin his relationship, while Phyllis and Sharon started piecing together who might really be behind the crime. Nick got angry at Phyllis for defending Kane, who he still believed was guilty. Meanwhile, Chance and Kane discovered that part of the security footage had been deleted, raising more questions. At the retreat, things got tense. Billy pointed out Kane's possible motive, Jack strongly disagreed, and Nick warned that he was ready to expose the truth before anyone else got hurt. Audra on The Young and the Restless showed up at Kyle's room and found him in just a towel. She shared updates about Damien's murder and worried about how Nate and Amy would react. Kyle tried to calm her down. When a noise scared her, Audra grabbed Kyle's arm and said she didn't want to be alone. He told her she could stay. Feeling safe with him, Audra leaned in and they ended up kissing and cheating on Claire in the process. Nick on The Young and the Restless got angry at Phyllis for defending Kane, who he still saw as the main suspect in Damien's murder. Phyllis said she believed Kane was truly scared and just wanted to give him a fair chance. Sharon joined in, and they talked about who else could be the killer. They realized it might be someone from Kane's own team, not a party guest. In the surveillance room on The Young and the Restless, Kane showed Chance the video from around the time Damien was killed. Right before the key moment, the footage glitched and went black. Kane said he didn't know why, but Chance thought it was deleted on purpose. Kane explained the system only backed up every 24 hours, so there was no copy yet. Only Carter and Amanda also had access. Chance grew more suspicious, but Kane insisted he was just as shocked as everyone else. In the dining area, Billy told Jack and Diane about Damien's death and suggested Kane might have acted out of jealousy over Lily. Jack was disgusted, especially since Billy had wanted to work with Kane. Kane then walked in and insisted he wasn't the attacker, but he was the real target. Billy blamed the Newmans, and Kane agreed, saying they'd protect Nick at any cost. Chance told Nick about the missing video footage, but Nick wasn't surprised. He asked why the police still hadn't shown up and accused Kane of stalling. When Chance asked what to do next, Nick said he might go get help himself. Later, Kane, Billy, Jack, Diane, and Nick were all in the same room. Nick warned he was done waiting and planned to expose everything before more damage was done. Tension ran high, and the mystery only got deeper. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Thursday, July 17th, indicate some bombshells on the horizon. A father fiercely protects his family, while one character is in self-defense mode, and someone has damaging information to share. What's set to unravel during Thursday's show? Time to find out. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Thursday, July 17th, imply that Victor Newman will fiercely protect his family's interests, which means this may have to do with Nick Newman being framed for Damien Kane's murder. Fans know that even if Kane Ashby was the intended target, murder is far from Nick's style, so the mustache will ensure his son doesn't go down for this crime. Still, considering they are locked away from the outside world, how much power does Victor hold in this situation, and can he protect Nick from any ramifications? Across the maze, Kane will also work hard to defend himself. However, is this against the ongoing accusations that he's behind Damien's murder, or will someone attack him where he needs to save himself? Kane has gone on and on about being someone's target, so will this mystery person attempt to kill him during Thursday's show? Lastly, The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday suggest that Lily Winters will have some damaging information that she shares with Chance Chancellor. With that said, who will she throw under the bus? Kane or Nick? Obviously, Lily doesn't trust Kane and may have intel for the cop when it comes to Damien's murder. But Nick also went on a rant about Kane just after Damien's stabbing. So will Lily tell Chance about this during the July 17th show? Could she implicate Nick in Damien's murder? What are you looking forward to most for Thursday's show? Share your thoughts in the comment section. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, July 18th hint at some explosive moments as the weekend hits. Someone's about to unleash a painful lesson while two exes cross a line, and a character swings in for the save. What's set to unravel during Friday's show? Time to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, July 18th reveal that Jack Abbott is about to teach Billy Abbott a painful lesson. Will he withdraw funding from Abbott Communications? Will Jack issue Billy an ultimatum? Only time will tell. However, considering all the shock around Damien Kane's demise, is this really the time for Jack to be sparring with Billy? Speaking of reading the room, Audra Charles and Kyle Abbott will cross a line. Will the news about Damien hit these two so hard that they feel the need to hit the sheets? Then again, maybe the side of the train where Audra and Kyle aren't aware that a murder has just taken place on the property. The saddest part of this is that Audra will cheat on Nate Hastings, just as his entire world is falling apart. Finally, The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday reveal that Sharon Newman will take control of a situation in hopes she can help Nick Newman. What does this mean exactly? As fans know, Nick found the knife used in Damien's stabbing planted in his train cabin's bathroom. Fans also know Nick likely had nothing to do with the man's murder. Will Sharon approach Chance Chancellor and try to reason with him? Or does she approach Kane Ashby and have words with him? Then again, if Sharon is taking action on this, will she start to investigate things on her own? She knows a thing or two about murders and framing jobs, right? What are you looking forward to most for Friday's show? Share your thoughts in the comments section. The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Friday, July 18th, 2025. Fans can expect Jack Abbott to teach Billy Abbott a painful lesson. Meanwhile, Sharon Newman takes matters into her own hands to help Nick Newman. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's begin with Billy, who has been looking for revenge. The man is also determined to get control of Chancellor, which is why he made a deal with Aristotle Dumas in the first place. Now that everyone knows Dumas is Kane Ashby, there's also Jack learning that Billy didn't keep up his end of the deal. The only reason Jack agreed to help fund Abbott Communications was that he thought Billy would put all his effort into this new venture. Now that Jack knows Billy is still out for revenge, he might pull that funding the minute he gets back to Genoa City. While Jack could pull the funding, how will that affect Sally Spectra? Sally made her own deal with Billy. At the same time, Sally also doesn't want Billy to focus on revenge. So, she could be put in a dilemma. Sharon Newman's rescue mission, The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Friday, July 18th, reveal that Sharon will get even more worried about Nick. It seems that someone is framing Nick for Damien Kane's death, but it's not clear who yet. Kane keeps insisting that he's innocent, but fans know that Nick didn't kill Damien either. Over with Audra Charles and Kyle Abbott, they will share a close moment. Kyle has been able to stop himself so far. However, he has also never seen Audra truly vulnerable. Fans know that Audra has become very close to Amy Lewis. So, Audra will worry about how Damien's death will affect Amy, especially since she's battling cancer at the same time. It could prove to be too much for the woman to take. Back to Kyle, it seems that he could end up getting passionate with Audra. However, don't expect them to confess. It seems that Audra and Kyle could make a pact to keep their secret buried. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Friday, July 18th, 2025? The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. In the next episode, fans can expect Amanda Sinclair to question Kane Ashby. Devin Winters connects the dots. Plus, Nick Newman makes a shocking discovery. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in tomorrow's episode of the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Damien Kane, who was drugged and ended up with a dagger in his back. Damien wasn't stabbed by someone close, but by a person with really good aim. That villain didn't even have to come out of hiding to stick a knife in Damien's back. Then, the victim fell on top of Kane. Kane says that he was feeling lightheaded after his drink, but not as bad as Damien. Kane tried to explain to Phyllis Summers, then ran to get Chance Chancellor. Phyllis stayed with Damien's body for a few moments, then ran off. When Amanda learns that Damien has been murdered, she will have some questions for Kane. This news will horrify Amanda, especially after that conversation with Lily Winters. Kane will insist he's innocent, but Amanda might have her own doubts. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Wednesday, July 16th, reveal that Nick makes a shocking discovery. Then, later in the week, he comes up with an escape plan. Is this shocking discovery the dagger in Kane's belongings? The dagger does disappear from the body, so the killer clearly took it and might try to frame Kane. Maybe Kane planned on a murder mystery, but is blindsided by a real killing on his property. This clearly wasn't in Kane's plans, but good luck getting anyone to believe him. It is also teased that Devon will start to connect the dots. Devon already is fed up with Kane, so it won't take much for him to accuse Kane of killing Damien. Especially with Lily deciding to date Damien, then he dies afterward. Not suspicious at all. While Kane is innocent, I wonder if the same can be said for his assistant. Could Carter be responsible for Damien's death? Maybe the loyal little assistant has jealousy issues or is trying to set up his own employer.